Welcome to the Insomnia Project. Sit back, relax, and listen as we have a conversation about the mundane. One thing that we can promise is that our conversation will be somewhat less than fascinating so that you can just feel free to drift off, relax, and hopefully sleep. Thank you for joining us. We hope you will listen and sleep. I'm your host, Marco Timpano.
And I'm your host, Nidhi Khanna, and joining us from the other room in a scuttle across the floor was, of course, Zena.
Yes.
Because it wouldn't be an episode without her scuttling across right as we start recording.
And Zena, of course, is your dog, in case we have new listeners.
Exactly.
But, she doesn't get picked up as much as we think, because we hear it quite loud, but I don't think she gets picked up as much
no, probably
as
not.
my mic, as me dropping pens.
Well, this is true. Although, her drinking water seems like it is a waterfall.
Yeah. But it's a repetitive sound that is actually quite nice.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Very therapeutic.
There you go. Please follow us on Instagram and on Twitter at Listen and Sleep. Mm-hmm. And thank you for everybody who's rated us. We got some great 5-star ratings and reviews. Please continue to rate, review, and subscribe, as
Absolutely.
they say. People don't say that as much anymore on podcasts. They used to say it a lot more.
I'm also thinking that I don't think our Instagram handle is Listen and Sleep. Isn't the Insomnia Project?
Oh, yeah, it probably is.
We should be better at that.
We should be better at that.
You've been, Marco, enjoying some time away from Toronto.
That's right. I had.
Getting out of town.
Yeah. I think that's a good name for this episode.
There we go.
The Get Out of Town episode.
Get out of town. Does anyone say that anymore?
It seems like something very 20s Chicago. You were just in Chicago.
I was.
Oh, so you got out of town too.
I did get out of town.
All right, I'm going to tell you one of the favorite things that happened to me while I was out of town.
Okay.
And then you tell me something that happened to you that was
Okay.
kind of cool from out of town.
Perfect.
So I was recently in Orlando, Florida for work, and the hotel was near Disney Springs.
Okay.
Do you know Disney at all?
That whole Disney World area?
Kind of, but it's its own little. It used to be called Downtown Disney, and now it's called Disney Springs, and it's
Okay.
just basically restaurants and shopping.
Okay.
So I guess if you're done with the park, you can go this little area and
Is
shop.
it still like Disney themed though?
Somewhat. It is, but not as much as the park is.
Okay.
And it's free to go to. It's got a huge movie theater, and it's got some really cool restaurants with some great chefs.
Great.
I think it's this spoon.
Oh,
Because I shook the table. There's a little spoon that was bobbing back and forth. A spoon with an orange on the end of it. Well, you know what? We'll take a picture of it and we'll put it on our Instagram so
Oranges.
that we.
Florida.
Hey.
Hey.
Anyway, so Disney Springs is Disney Springs, so I'll get to that later. But my hotel had a lazy river.
What's that?
It's basically a pool that goes around in a circle, and you go into an inner tube and you just sit and let the little current take you around.
Oh, that's amazing. I love those.
And I was, Amanda, my wife wanted to go to it. I'm like, I really don't want to. I hate getting into a swimming pool that's not really warm.
Oh, I'm the same way.
Okay, because I didn't want to say it because it seems, I seem so like.
And can I tell you, I was recently at my friend Samina's place, and she has moved into this like apartment complex condominium in Mississauga, which is just outside of Toronto, and there's a lot of it's an older apartment block, apartment complex, both in like it was constructed probably maybe 5, 6, 10 years ago. It has a pool, and a lot of the residents in this condo building are also a little bit older in age, and so she was telling us when we went downstairs to go use the pool, she was like, because of the age of the age of some of the people in the building, that they really fought for keeping the pool water at a comfortable temperature. So Marco, I got into this pool. You know how you go into pools and you know those first few steps in the pool are just going to be cold, and you're like, okay, now I want to go back into the hot tub,
Yes.
right? It was like going into a hot tub. There was no change between the pool water and my body temperature.
Great.
It just smelled like... So I think that's what I need.
I always say, I want to feel like a tea bag.
Yes.
Getting steeped into a pot of tea.
I agree.
So the Lazy River was like you described. You walked in, and it was like the same temperature of your body. Like you didn't notice a difference. You just happened now to be in water, but not only water, on a lazy river water. So it just kind of slowly took you and your inner tube around this wonderful little...
How long was the ride or the river?
The little lazy river was about, I would say, a 10-minute loop.
Oh, that's pretty good.
There was a bit of a waterfall you had to avoid if you didn't want to get splashed. So there was a little bit of, you had to avoid it if you didn't want to get splashed. But that was the biggest thing. And then we went into the pool, and the pool was nice too. But I was like, I'm just digging this lazy river.
Yeah.
So that was my cool thing that happened in Orlando, Florida. Shout out to all our Floridian listeners. And thank you for that lazy river.
That's amazing. I feel like I went to Chicago and did not go into a lazy river.
Okay. Well, Chicago's one of my favorite cities.
I know, it's such a great city.
Yeah.
And we drove there actually from here.
Cool.
Which was cool. It was cool because when you pass the border from Michigan into Indiana, there's a time change.
Oh, that's right, of course.
But if you've never driven during a time change, like I've never driven across a time change area.
Right. A time zone.
A time zone, thank you. And so it's late that we're recording this. So it was just kind of neat to all of a sudden, after a minute, you actually see the time change happen, right?
Wow.
You cross over the time zone. So we drove into Chicago, stayed in a really cool area called Lakeview. So it wasn't like straight downtown, but I was amazed by just all the art and architecture.
So
and
great.
The food. The food was amazing.
You don't need to go anywhere fancy.
No.
Chicago has it all. So if you haven't been to Chicago,
go to Chicago.
Love it. The downtown smells like chocolate because there's a chocolate factory downtown. Did you experience that?
No, I did not.
It's like, Chicago, you had me at the architecture, and then you cinched the deal with the food. Mm-hmm. And the people are fantastic.
The people are amazing.
And then you put chocolate in the air. That's it.
Done.
That's it.
Done.
I never have to go anywhere else.
The biggest testament to how amazing that city was is that it was pouring rain.
Okay.
It did not stop raining, and we still had an amazing time. So, that's a pretty big statement about Chicago.
There you go. Did you travel through Michigan?
Yeah.
Did you stop by Ann Arbor?
I did, and you know where I stopped at? Oh my God, Zingerman's.
Okay.
Which we talked about. I believe.
We did. Isn't that where?
It's where Obama ate.
Okay.
But it's where they have those smoked meat sandwiches.
Yeah, I remember.
Our Ann Arbor, what episode number was that?
Okay, so Nidhi,
I'm gonna find
we
out.
should say this. Our podcast has a love for Ann Arbor. I can't remember why. If you listen to that episode, maybe it'll be revealed. But after we did an Ann Arbor episode, we both kind of fell in love with that place. We love to mention Ann Arbor. Maybe we have some dedicated listeners in Ann Arbor, and that's why. I think that was it, Nidhi. I think when we first started, we had a lot of listeners from Ann Arbor.
Yes.
So.
And I didn't realize what a university town is, so I'm pretty sure that's a lot of college students who are like, I can't sleep.
That's cool.
And so that's amazing. Shout out to the college students who can't sleep. Hold on. I want to find out. I need to find out what episode that Ann Arbor. It was one of our first.
Yeah, it was like, I would say the top 20, the first 20.
Top 20?
Yeah, the first 20 that we did. Okay. So how was that place you went to? The smoked meat sandwich. Because here's the thing our listeners need to know. If there's somebody who's going to know about smoked meat sandwiches, it's going to be Nidhi, because Montreal, your hometown, is well known for smoked meat sandwiches.
Can I tell you the most embarrassing thing? I don't really eat smoked meat.
Oh, well then I take back everything I just said.
I know. It's really disturbing, I think, probably for me.
Different strokes for different folks.
But I really enjoyed Zingerman's. It was great. I really enjoyed Ann Arbor. We got to walk around a little bit.
I love Ann Arbor.
I didn't realize what an amazing city it is, and so close to Detroit. Like, it's only half an hour from Detroit, so it's not too far.
And Detroit, I love Detroit. People have this image of Detroit, and I invite everyone who hasn't been there in a while
to go.
Go to Detroit. It's got a great art scene, great jazzing, great food, great people, great architecture.
Oh, look,
Go
that's
to
me
drink.
trying to play.
Nidhi's playing playing an episode.
Hold on, maybe I should put the volume down.
There you go.
I'm yeah, and so the entire time I was like, what did we say during the Ann Arbor? I should have listened to the episode.
You could have.
I didn't do any research.
That's fine.
I'm the worst.
Okay, while you're looking into Ann
Tell me.
Arbor, I just recently came back from New Jersey as well.
Ooh.
This really is the get out of town episode.
really
I didn't
is.
realize this is what I was going to be talking about. But so once again, people have this perception of the state of New Jersey, and it kind of bothers me because every time I go to New Jersey, I love it.
Really?
I love New Jersey.
What do you love about New Jersey?
I love it. It's real. The people are I just really dig the people. It's got a great food scene. Nidhi, okay, so first of all, you and I love to eat, clearly, because we talk about food
all we do
incessantly.
is-
So I
yes.
apologize to our listeners who are like, I'm trying to sleep, and all they're just making me hungry. But we were in Jersey City, once again, for work. And
Love how you have to qualify.
I guess I don't
We
have
were
to go-
in Jersey City for work.
no, I don't know why I qualified it, but I did. But anyways, we were there for work. And so, you know what it is, because when you go somewhere for work, you have low expectations because you're probably not going to see much, right?
Because you're always like near the airport.
Yeah, or
you're
like,
kind of like
you don't see much of the
No.
place. But we had a day where we got to kind of just wander around a bit. And so I had said to Amanda, I'm like, rather than going to New York City, why don't we go to Hoboken? Because I really want to go to Hoboken, right? And it's not that that's Sinatra's birthplace, so a lot of people immediately associate Hoboken with Sinatra. But I remember when I lived in New York City.
Is that sort of across the street, like across the way from New York City?
It's across the river, yeah.
Right. Okay.
So, and when I lived in New York City, people were talking about Hoboken as the new hot place. Basically, Hoboken is what Brooklyn is today. You know, Brooklyn is the place to be and to live.
Sure.
That was Hoboken in the late 90s.
Okay.
Somewhat. So I was like, I've always wanted to go here. So Amanda looked on the map. She's like, we could walk. So I was like, all right, let's go for a walk. Hoboken is a charming, lovely city or town in New Jersey that I recommend everybody go check out. And, you know, we got a great cannoli. They have a great little downtown area. It had a great little buzz. There was people out, young people walking around, old people having a good time. We walked through a park and they were playing some Latin music. And people
Nothing bad clearly happens in Hoboken.
Not to me. So, and then we went from Jersey City and Hoboken. We went to another place nearby. I don't think it was in Jersey City. I'm sorry, I can't remember the town, but
You walked again?
no, this time we took an Uber, but it wasn't far. It just happened to be raining. We met friends at a bar.
Oh, nice.
I love oysters.
Oh, yeah, they're the best.
And they had some local oysters that were tremendous. Tremendous. So great. I love oysters.
New England oysters are nice.
Yeah.
But I guess that's not New England. That's New
No,
Jersey.
it's New Jersey. It was Jersey oyster.
Oh, really?
They were just plucked out of the water. Here you go. A little bit of lemon.
And boom, done.
Done.
The Ann Arbor episode was episode 13 in our first season of 130 episodes or whatever we did.
If you haven't heard that episode, we strongly request that you go back and
It's
listen
called
to.
Bagels, Breads, and Ann Arbor.
That's right.
So
we talk a lot about food, Nidhi.
we really do.
Okay, so tell me something that's not food related that you enjoyed in Chicago.
Oh, the Art Institute's amazing.
Oh, it's out of this world.
Yeah, like you can spend a whole day just from back to front there.
Was there something that stood out as far as pieces?
Ooh.
So much.
They had a really cool exhibit, like a photography exhibit, which I'm not quite sure if it was part of their permanent collection or if it was a rotating exhibit, which really kind of highlighted the history of the Black Civil Rights Movement in Chicago and the start of
Yeah.
it, right? Because it really was the birthplace, I think.
I saw something like that in the airport last time I went through O'Hare's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there were all these really amazing photos of like, the Black Panther movement and Martin Luther King, and it was really interesting and
Cool.
really great to see because we don't get that level of I don't know, not that level. That's not the right word, but we don't usually get exhibits.
Of that kind of caliber, or that nature, or that nature.
Or that level of content.
Sure.
Right? I think that's what I wanted to say. So yeah, it was really great to just have that, or to see that. We did a lot of like, using the public transport there, which it's like really great. You can get anywhere on that public transport system. On the L, and like, it was really cool to be on the L, and,
I was a big fan of ER.
Yes, me too. And I always used to remember I know. And just like even hanging out on the loop, like it was just, it's a really well thought out city, and they have the Bean was so much fun.
Neat,
like, it's just so nice to walk around there, right?
So that Bean, Tiffany has a Bean necklace.
Oh, do they?
Have you never seen it?
No.
I don't know if it's modeled after that Bean.
Okay.
But it has a similar sort of look. Amanda has one. So for Amanda's birthday, my sister said, "What should we get for Amanda?" It was an important birthday, so I said, she really wants a Tiffany Bean necklace. So my sister got it for her.
Aww.
And then her sister had a significant birthday, so we bought it for her. And then my sister had a significant birthday, so we bought it for her. So all the sisters in my family, so my wife, her sister, my sister, all the female siblings, I guess you could say, all have this really neat Bean necklace. And what's interesting is that my sister-in-law, so Amanda's sister, and my sister, 9 out of 10 times they'll be wearing that Bean necklace. They just love it. They wear it all the time. So it's really quite lovely.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, it looks great on them. I have to say, yeah.
We went to this really cool speakeasy bar called the Violet Hour. Mm-hmm. Have you heard of this?
No, but I love it already.
It's in the Wicker Park area. And every time I think of Wicker Park, all I can think of is that movie with like Josh Hartnett or whatever, where he was playing I think from the 1800s.
Okay.
Anyways, whatever. I don't think it was a very good movie, if I remember correctly. But all that to say that Wicker Park was really, really cool. And this Violet Hour place, like Marco, we were told by multiple people, start lining up before 6 p.m. before it opens, because it's like you got to get in at 6 or just don't go.
Right.
And even in our Airbnb, it had listed that as like,
wow, it's one of the things.
As one of the things, and get there early, otherwise don't go.
What time did you get there?
So we there's a lot of really great vintage stores in that area, so we were kind of shopping around in those vintage pop-ups, and then we got there at like 5:50. Let's say, right? Yeah. We're like 5:55, whatever. We'll get there right at 6, Marco, there was already a lineup. It was insane. And so we got in line, but we were still part of the first few people to come in. So that was great, because it's like once the place is open, they just had to seat you. There was enough seating. And you go in, and it's bright, bright, bright sunshine outside. Well, it wasn't sunny at that time, but it was bright outside. You go in, and it's like...
dark.
So dark. Like, dark to the point where I'm like, this is dangerous,
Nidhi, if you're going to go to speakeasy...
You got to go to the darkest one possible.
I don't think a speakeasy should have any light. It should be like you're entering into a pinhole camera.
That's exactly what this was. And apparently it's one of the best cocktail bars in the States or something.
Okay, so now I need to know what you had.
I can't for the life of me remember. I know.
What was the base? What was the alcohol base?
I believe it was rum.
Okay.
I think I had a dark and stormy at one point. Just like a simple dark and stormy.
So you had several cocktails, it's safe to say.
Come on. They were very boozy.
They know how to pour in.
But it was great. We started with the cocktail, and then just being there and having, like, my friend who I was with had a gin and tonic. I had a dark and stormy, and it was like, that was even just good enough. We didn't need to have a fancy cocktail, because I don't know if it was the rum, the base that they were using was just so incredible. And that was one of the highlights.
Okay, definitely. So if you want to go to a cocktail bar in Chicago, that is like one of those just classic Chicago places that has been around for years and years, you got to go to the Pump Room.
The Pump Room?
The Pump Room in Chicago is famous because everybody in pop culture history from a certain era went there. I think it opened up in the 30s, the actual Pump Bar, and it's one of those places that you go and you're like, oh, this is where all those like Lena Horne, Sinatra,
wow.
Sammy Davis Jr., all these people played and hung out, and it's like this is the place where people went to be seen and to see, and they make a strong, awesome drink there. Yeah, I just pulled it out. So like John Barrymore, Marilyn Monroe,
Wow.
Judy Garland, Betty Davis, Oprah Winfrey, David Bowie, Natalie Wood, Robert Wagner, Paul Newman, all these, Humphrey Bogart, Elizabeth Taylor, Lena Horne, Joan Crawford, Liza Minnelli, Robert Redford, all these people went to the Pump Room. So next time you're there,
The Pump Room.
Pump Room is where you got to go. Just for one cocktail. You go there, you have a nice martini, and start your night there. Go to your speakeasy.
And there you go.
Now you're going, at the end of the summer, to do something fun.
Yeah. I am going to be going back to the Caribbean. I'm going to get like my diving certification.
So great.
I'm really excited. So I'm going to do part of the course here, which is like more of the theory and the open water and in the pool. And then I can go down there and you have to do like 4 open water dives.
Wow.
And then you become certified. I'm both terrified and excited at the same time.
That's great. That's a great combination. I think it's a great combination.
I feel like, what am I getting myself into? But I feel like anything in my life where I have kind of been throw caution to the wind and just do it and stop thinking so much about it has led to amazing things. So
stay tuned, listeners, because when Nidhi gets back, we'll have her scuba episode where she describes what she saw, how it went.
Yes. I know all the fishes.
Yeah.
I feel like you should be doing scuba.
I would love to do that. And I've snorkeled before, but I'm not a strong swimmer, and I sometimes get scared. So perhaps scuba diving would be a good fit for me. But time will tell. Right now, I want to hear and see it through your eyes, and then. But I've done things like that on a lark, like things that have really scared me. That I've just been like, okay.
Like what?
I'm not a huge fan of roller coasters.
Oh, I hate roller
coasters.
But
I've gone on ones that I haven't wanted to go on before, and I'm not good with heights. But every once in a while, like, I guess friends convince me to climb high places, and I'm like, I really am not enjoying this, but I'll do it because everyone else seems to want to do it.
You know what, Marco? I have decided never to go up on the CN Tower again.
So for our listeners who aren't aware, the CN Tower is a very, very tall tower that kind of marks our skyline. So you know how Seattle has their needle, what's it called? The Seattle Needle. Mm-hmm. Toronto has the CN Tower.
Yeah.
And it's a very, very tall tower.
Yeah, for many, many, many years, it was the tallest, I think, freestanding.
I want to say from 77 when it was built till about the early 2000s or mid 2000s.
Like that. Before the Malaysian tower was built.
That's right. It was the tallest freestanding structure.
And if you go, there's obviously an observation deck, and you go up there, and there's also a part of the observation deck that is like glass bottomed, so you can see down if that's something you're into. Mm-hmm. And it's something you do, obviously, whenever someone comes to town, they want to go see the CN Tower, et cetera, et cetera. I hate it.
Okay, well, I love it, so...
Really?
I do like it.
It's so high up.
I know.
No, I can't.
There you go.
I'm done with the CN Tower.
I love it. I'll always go. I love you, CN Tower. I'll always go up you, so there you go.
Would you ever do the edge walk thing?
Never. Never would you do that.
No, that would be like my nightmare.
I shouldn't say never, because if I got a role that required me to do it, oh man, it would be hard, but I might do it, but no, that's not my thing.
No.
But I'll give a little tip to our listeners. Ooh. So you didn't hear this from me, but if you're in Toronto and you want to go to the CN Tower, it can be quite pricey to go up, but they have a restaurant up there. And if you tell them that you're going to the restaurant, you have to pay for a meal, but it kind of covers the cost of you going up. And
so you might as well just have the food.
You didn't hear it from me, folks. But
smart traveling. Wow.
Is there anything that you like to bring when you do a short jaunt out of town?
Good question. Good question. I find I need to make sure that I have comfortable pajamas. Like, my pajamas have to be good. Like, just out of everything, to me.
Nidhi, I think after people listen to the luxury episode, they know how important that is to you. You know what I love when I go for short jaunts? I love turning on the TV in the hotel and seeing what's on.
That's not just short jaunts, though. That's any jaunt.
But particularly like when I'm in a city where it's like I watch their local news.
Oh, yeah.
Love it.
I know.
Because they mention places you don't know.
No, I know. And there's always like a personality, right?
For sure.
Of the place. So
the weather person, the
yeah.
sports person, the anchor, the person who's to the left of the anchor.
It's true. You can tell a lot by the newsroom.
When you grew up in Montreal, did you watch any news programs that came from the U.S.? Because in Toronto, we watched a lot of stuff that came out of Buffalo.
Yeah, same here. Buffalo.
Oh, was it Buffalo that you guys
Buffalo
got?
Was the big one. Sometimes like Burlington, Vermont, or Albany and stuff like that. Sure. But it was mostly Buffalo.
I've never been to Vermont.
I've been to Stowe, Vermont, which is kind of like a ski town. But other than that, not really.
Okay, well, that's next time I get out of town, I want to go to Vermont.
Well, there you go.
All right.
It's also a cool sounding name.
Well, if you haven't had a chance to fall asleep yet, we hope the next time you get to town, you have a great time.
There you go. As always, we are recording from Toronto. Please follow us on Twitter at Listen Sleep, but on Instagram at The Insomnia Project. And as always, we're produced by Drumcast Productions, and we will see you or speak to you.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Next time.